Our good friend Heath Brooks from over at Timberlake and League joining us right now. Hey, Heath.
Hey, good to be here.
So while we wait for callers to light up our lines, I want to ask you something. What do you do when you're, let's say, on vacation out of state and you get hurt?
You know, here's the thing. We're coming into fall break. All of our students are going to be out. They're going to be on the roads, going down to Florida, going to state parks, going to national parks. And it's a big concern. We get a lot of calls on this. Somebody is down at Panama City Beach, gets into an automobile wreck or falls in a store. And we have to tell them, look, where you get hurt is the law at the place where you get hurt is what's going to be applied. So I'm not licensed to practice law in the state of Florida, but if I get a call like that, I will help somebody find a lawyer in the state of Florida because that's the type of lawyer they're going to need. Or if you're in California, or if you're in Kentucky, you'll need a California, Kentucky lawyer.
And I have a question to follow up with that, if you don't mind. But when you are getting car insurance, they often set your rates according to where you live.
Right.
How does insurance filter into how things are covered from state to state, or does it matter?
You know, that's an excellent question. And the reality is that most insurance providers, the big ones, Progressive, State Farm, Geico, all of the big insurance providers, they'll have a policy provision that normally follows state law, which is if you go to another state, your insurance coverage will come up to meet the minimum of that particular state. Now, if you have more coverage in your home state, then you can utilize the additional coverage if you go out of state. But if you say Florida is a weird state because it has a lot of different insurance laws that are not like Alabama. Sometimes people aren't required to have liability insurance in Florida, meaning if they get into a wreck and it's their fault down in Florida, they're not always required to carry insurance to protect the person that they hit. But if they come into the state of Alabama, their insurance policy, a Florida insurance policy, will come up to meet the minimum standard in Alabama, which is $25,000 per wreck, up to $50,000 depending upon the number of people you have in the car.
And just a reminder, our phone lines are open, 256-531-0077. And I do believe right now we have Joey on the line. Joey, go ahead with your question.
Yes, appreciate it. I just had a question about my family doctor. I won't call any names, but back in January, I go to her every 6 months to get blood work done and everything. And last January, she, first of all, was mad at me because I wouldn't take any of the COVID shots. And second of all, now she's telling me that I've got to take a flu shot and a pneumonia shot, or the group she's with Crestwood Hospital is going to, that don't fit her group, ACO, I think she calls it, or whatever. Then I went to her back in July, and now it's not the ACO, now it's her. She's saying, I'm saying it now. It's got nothing to do with Medicare and ACO. I'm saying that now. I'm just wondering, do I have any rights? I mean, can she do that? I guess she can. It's her practice. I'm just wanting to know how you feel about it.
Well, you know, you have the right to determine what medical care you give, receive, and that includes vaccines at this point in time, particularly flu and pneumonia. You don't have to take those if you don't want to take them, but your doctor, being a private doctor, can require you to take those vaccinations in order to be able to provide you treatment. So it sounds like to me that you're in a situation where your doctor isn't agreeing with what you want to, what the medical decisions that you want to make, and you're not agreeing with the medical decisions that your doctor wants you to make. And so it's a failed relationship in that regard, and you probably need to look for a different doctor.
And I do believe we have another caller. David, are you ready to ask your question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I've been living with this lady for nearly 8 years now. She has elected to move on out. I have property and assets. She does not. Am I obligated to give her any of that?
Well, the question is whether or not you were considered to be common law married prior to when the state of Alabama outlawed common law marriage. State of Alabama used to accept what's called being common law married, which means that you've held yourself out as a husband and a wife. And absent that, if you don't have any what I'll term a legal relationship, in other words, you don't have a specific partnership or you haven't signed any marriage documents, then the property is yours, and you're not really required to give anything over to your girlfriend. if she decides to move out. Now, if your girlfriend has paid money in for the property or has provided benefits, monetary benefits to you to maintain the property, then she may be able to make a claim, along those lines. But in terms of if you're distributing assets from a regular marriage, no, that wouldn't be required, absent you being common law married before it was outlawed in the state of Alabama.
And I do believe that is all of the callers we have time to take today, Heath. I do appreciate you, of course, being here with us, as always. And remember, if you didn't get your legal question answered today, you can always call our friends over at Timberlake and League. And, of course, you can also reach out here on every Monday's midday show to talk to our lawyers, again, from over at Timberlake and League. We'll be right back.